Okay, I used to be horrible at storytelling. Seriously, here's the proof.
Welcome to KO Stories, our second story. And this one has a little to do with the game of chess and a lot of murders. Come and find out what this is about. Now the name...
Okay, I was just straight up bad.
If you do watch this, you are going to find really good tips on how to actually get better at real life storytelling.
Was Marina Moskayova. She was, of course, Russian, and I'm taking you way back, well, not way back, but back to June 2006.
Can you believe that I just took up 13 seconds of your time to say absolutely nothing? And look at this. I was trying to do a collage in the background, but I was outside, so I was like, oh, let's see if I can kind of do this. I don't even know what I'm looking at here. It looks like a city in the background. You can see the KindMaster logo up top. Yeah, real professional. And basically, I'm just boring you guys to death. So this was day one. Now let's move on to the first ever green screen video I did, which was actually right after this.
Now, I'm about to show you the improvements that I've made over 100 days. But first, check this out.
Okay, now, I want to see if you guys can pick out what I did wrong. Okay, because there's a lot. But first, as you'll see, my intro is so long. Take a look.
Welcome. This is my channel, and I tell stories of the mysterious, twisted, and paranormal. So please stick around and consider subscribing and turning on your post notifications. Now, I got a story for you today that will entertain you. So relax, enjoy, and remember, as of now, we're about to step into a mind that's not our own. Let's go.
Okay, when it comes to a hook, it's called a hook because you need to hook the audience. 24 seconds, I think that was, of me just telling you in a monotone voice what I'm going to do does not hook the audience. So there's my first and biggest mistake. And I actually did this for a lot of videos, sadly, yes. But you guys are going to learn a lot more. I'm going to tell you everything I did wrong, and then we're going to see the progress.
Alright, now this story is a great reminder that Mother Nature should always be respected. And more importantly, it's indiscriminate. It doesn't care if you're an average person, a 5-time Grammy winner, or a Prime Minister.
I had no idea about pacing, no idea about cliffhangers, no idea how to get you, the audience, to actually stay and watch these stories.
This story takes place on December 17th, 1967, on the coast of Melbourne, Australia. Harold Holt was 59 and 2 years into office as Prime Minister of Australia. He was liked by the people of Australia, and in his short 2 years in office, already accrued huge legislative victories, such as liberal reform policies, including converting Australia's outdated monetary system, which at the time was based upon the British pound, to a system that is more compatible with the US dollar.
I was so much worse than I thought.
Did you notice the green screen and how it was kind of flickering? That's because I didn't get my lighting set up properly. Make sure to always set up your lighting. Lighting is everything, and so is a microphone, okay? Never really had trouble with that, but I know a lot of people do. I saw a recent study that said people rather watch something that's filmed bad than if it has bad audio. So remember that. Always have great audio. But did you notice the story? Instead of telling you impactful things that you might like, I'm talking about the dollar and things that you would have absolutely no interest in. So please avoid doing what I did. Now, where we're going to go to next is day number 10. So take a look at this and see if you notice anything different at all.
Welcome. This is my channel, and I tell stories of the mysterious, twisted, and paranormal. So please stick around and consider subscribing and turning on your post notifications. I got a story for you today that will entertain you, so relax and enjoy. And remember, as of now, it's time to slip into a mind that's not our own. Let's go.
Okay, I was just straight up bad.
Okay, so at day 10, you can see I got the green screen, the lighting fixed a little better, but I'm still doing this long, boring intro. Remember, you want to keep the intro short, quick, maybe 10, 15 seconds. Keep it punchy. You will gain a lot more subscribers and views, trust me. And also, a bunch of new YouTubers do this. I was the same. My name was KO Reactions, and then KO Stories, as you just saw in the first clip, and now it's MTP Stories. I finally settled on what it is now, Mr. E-Files. So basically, just try to spitball and find a great name off the bat. It's not easy, but now that you have ChatGPT and other things, I think you'll be great. But we're going to look at something else right now, because in the same story, I found something. Check this out.
There was also a large number of local residents who joined in on the search. They used all the resources.
Now, did you notice anything other than I'm still very monotone, which is horrible for storytelling, and you can see my eyes darting to the teleprompter. It's really, honestly horrible.
Okay, I don't know if I had a bad day or if I just sucked. I'm glad that I will never have to watch that again. I truly am sorry. I probably owe most of you an apology for that. In fact, I think I owe an apology to everybody who watched the first 6 months of my storytelling. I'm sorry.
But what are your thoughts? Tell me who you think the killer is in the comments below, because I will read them all and I really want to know what you guys think. Was it an average person? Somebody they knew? A malevolent spirit? Or the ghost of Victoria's husband? You let me know.
Okay, it ended, but did I give an ending?
Okay, I know I've probably lost a lot of you, but this is a real teaching moment, and now I'm going to fast forward and show you where I went to at 90 days, because, and then eventually 100 days, but if I just showed you day 15, day 20, day 30, day 40, you'd be bored out of your mind. It's basically more of the same until I finally start to get comfortable with the camera. So regardless of what you do, just sometimes talk to your camera. It will truly help. You don't believe me? Take a look.
So wait a minute, by clicking on this channel, you think you made a mistake? No. If you are a fan of true crime, mysterious stories, or the paranormal, you are in the right place. This is Mr. E-Files, and I am Mr. E-Files. So, I got a great story for you today, and it's one that's gonna have you being like, what is going on? But that's okay, because that's what we do here. And this is on the mysterious side.
See, we're inching our way. We're getting a little bit better, but...
Okay, I hope a lot of you are saying, wow, that's a lot better. Well, that's what practice does. Practice will make you better. But as you notice, even though I'm more myself, I'm more jovial and I'm just more loose around the camera, I still didn't nail the hook. Right? I'm still saying, hey, this is my channel. Will you subscribe? Blah, blah, blah. You do not want to do that. You want to get straight into the story. You don't need a fancy, intro or anything like that. Believe me, it took me a while to get rid of it. Trust me, though.
I'm making this so maybe it could even help you if you're a storyteller or there is storytelling within the job that you do or the day that you have. Because believe it or not, storytelling isn't as easy as it seems, and it takes a lot of practice. For one, you actually got to start with being comfortable to talk on camera. I know it's just a camera that you're looking at, but sometimes we envision it as being a person, 10 people, 100, 1,000 people. That gets to us. We start sweating, we get red, we break out, and then we just mumble our words and almost have a stroke. Not kidding, it's almost happened to me 100 times. But once you can get past that and actually just be yourself on a camera to your audience, you realize that no longer are you fighting just to get on that algorithm. You're fighting for the people that watch you, the audience. Who would have thought?
Tamara Samsonova is currently in police custody, although it is uncertain whether she will be declared fit to face criminal charges, as she herself informed the judge at her first court appearance.
I am haunted by this maniac upstairs. It is him who forced me to kill these people.
Hold on now. Could this be a case of a possession? Now, was this maniac upstairs the real killer, or just a product of her imagination? Either way, Samsonova's was known not as Jack the Ripper, but as the Granny Ripper. And yes, this is a true story, and I'm not kidding. She is called the Granny Ripper.
You see that is a way better way to end a story.
Now, do you remember my second story, my first green screen video? That was on this case. I ended up redoing it, which was of a prime minister. And just look at how the intro is totally different. Check it out.
So, did a Chinese submarine emerge from the shallow waters and take him right then and right there?
Okay, listen, I know I'm not the best teacher because I'm still into this. In fact, now I am 3 years into this. But just because I'm not that great of a teacher doesn't mean that I did not want to help you guys. So I hope through this you were able to find certain things that you can pinpoint in my old stories and not do, and certain things that you will see in my newer stories and maybe implement those. I mean, as you can tell just from this, I instantly started with a hook, not hey, how you doing, not with an intro, not with even a video intro or anything like that. You just get straight into the story, which is why for the story of day 100, if you want, I'm going to play the whole story, and I want you guys in the comments to tell me how much you think I improved from day 1 to day 100. Did I improve 20%, 50%, 100%? 300%. Totally up to you, but definitely let me know in the comments. And I actually have a bunch more of these that I'm going to do. I'm going to make it a small series because, as I said, this is only up until day 100. And right now, I'm close to the 3-year mark. So if you want to see any of my news stories at the end, you will see the end screen. Definitely click on that, or just check out my channel, Mr. E-Files. You probably know that you're on it right now. And check out one of my last 8 news stories. And if you don't like it, you never have to see my face again. Deal? All right, let's go.
I mean, so did any of you think that a murder could be actually solved through a possession beyond the grave? Teresita was born in the Philippines in 1929, an only child to successful business couple Pedro and Socorro Basa. Now, when she was 31 years old, she graduated from a Manila university and immigrated to America to study music. Then, over the next decade, she settled in Chicago and became a respiratory therapist at Edgewater Hospital. Now, in a bizarre mini twist, John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown, was born at that very same hospital just 30 years before Teresita arrived. Now, she lived a quiet, unassuming life with her husband, Joe. While working at the hospital, she provided free piano lessons for children and was known to be a friendly member of the local community, which made what was about to happen all the more baffling. You see, for her at the time, it was just an average night, but what she didn't know is that it would be the worst night of her life. So Teresita and her friend Ruth Loeb, they chatted on the phone for around 30 minutes, and Teresita told Ruth she was expecting a friend to come over but didn't say who it was or why they were visiting. So less than an hour later, the fire brigade were called to a blaze at Teresita's apartment, and it was only called in after neighbors had complained of smelling the smoke in the air. Then once the fire was put out, her nude body was found deceased beneath a smoking mattress. And there was this kitchen knife that was just sticking out of her chest. After this, the autopsy confirmed that she had not been sexually assaulted, which begged the question as to why she was nude and who killed her. Now, it was clear to investigators that the fire had been set to cover up the murder. Now, there was minimal evidence to go on because most of it had been destroyed in the fire. However, one piece of unusual evidence turned up. It was a partial note which read, "Get theater tickets for A.S." So, obviously initials for somebody. At this point, police interviewed Ruth, who could offer no more details of who the mystery guest was, other than she thought that Teresita was expecting a male guest. Just to tell you a little more, Teresita had gone to work as usual and finished up at around 5:30 p.m., after which they had spoken on the phone. Now, Teresita had no enemies and there was seemingly no motive for her murder. So let's unravel this mystery together, shall we? I mean, theft was looked at as a possibility, but there was no evidence to suggest that anything had been taken or stolen, and so the case, unfortunately, and it seems this happens a lot, went cold. That is until 5 months later, when Teresita returned from the grave to name her killer. You see, Teresita's body was returned to the Philippines shortly after her death,
where she was buried in accordance with her family's wishes. But without the killer being caught, her family and friends had no closure until Teresita solved the murder from beyond the grave. Remy Chua also worked as a respiratory therapist at Edgewater Hospital and had been close to Teresita. 5 months after the murder, Remy spoke to her husband, who was a surgeon named Dr. Jose Chua, and told him of the frightening visions that she'd had. She claimed that the ghost of Teresita had visited her on at least 3 different occasions and possessed her body. And the doctor was, of course, skeptical, but then he witnessed his wife go into a trance and become possessed by Teresita's ghost. Then while in this trance, she spoke this Philippine language called Tagalog and asked the doctor for help. Teresita spoke through Remy, and the doctor, wrote down exactly what was said, and this is what was said. "Doctor, I would like to ask you for help. The man who murdered me is still at large." The doctor then asked her name, and the voice replied, "She was Teresita Basa." The voice continued, "There is nothing to be scared of, nothing. But I was murdered by a man named Alan Showery." The voice claimed Alan had visited her apartment to fix her television set, then stole her jewelry right before removing her clothes and stabbing her. Now, at first, the doctor didn't believe what he was hearing, but after more and more possessions of Remy, he slowly came around to what he believed was the truth. The spirit of Teresita Basa had possessed his wife. Moving forward, now Detective Joe Statula was working on another case when Jose contacted him claiming to have information about the murder. Now, understandably skeptical, Statula asked to speak to Remy, and she told him the first vision appeared when she was taking a rest in the nurse's lounge 3 months after the murder. And she said that she woke from a brief sleep to find Teresita standing right in front of her, illuminated by the sun coming in from the window. Hoping it to be like a one-off experience, she put it in the back of her mind until the hauntings escalated. She later claimed she had no recollection of the possessions and only had her husband's word to go on. And you see, the supernatural was not something Statula was interested in, nor was it a basis to build a case, except Jose and Remy had given him a name, Alan Showery. Surely it was not a coincidence his initials matched those on the note found in Teresita's apartment, A.S. And it just so happened that Alan Showery was an assistant respiratory technician at the same hospital and was known to both Remy and Teresita. Alan was having difficulty with his finances, and Teresita was helping him out by having him do odd jobs for her around the apartment. Now, on the basis of visions and possessions, Statula and some of his officers went to Alan's home and arrested him. So as of now, you can't say you've never heard of somebody being arrested because of a vision or a possession, because I just told you. Also, his pregnant girlfriend was home at that time when police searched the home. They found jewelry belonging to Teresita. And it was at this moment that they also found a younger man in the corner screaming to you, saying, "Subscribe and like this video, or you might yourself become possessed." I'm just reading the story, guys, but I would do as I'm told. I don't think it's worth taking the risk. Now, at first, Alan denied everything and said, they got the wrong guy. But the tables turned when investigators dug a little bit deeper. Alan admitted to visiting Teresita to help fix her TV, but then he said he left straight after that. However, his girlfriend claimed he knew nothing about electronics and couldn't even fix the squeaky bed in their room. So soon enough, Alan cracked and admitted to attacking Teresita. He said he had visited her apartment in the hope of getting some money to, pay off his rent. But when he saw that she was in possession of jewelry from her rich parents, he decided to rob her. Teresita fought back, and Alan then stabbed her in the chest, and he stripped her naked to make the murder look like a sexual assault. Then he set a mattress on fire to hide any of the evidence. He made off with approximately $50 in cash, a pearl ring, and a jade pendant. Alan later withdrew his confession and changed his plea to not guilty when his lawyers learned he had been arrested on the basis of a supernatural vision. But with the previous confession in hand and the unusual evidence against him, the trial went ahead. And shortly before the trial started, Alan changed his plea again, and this time it was to guilty. Now, for some onlookers, it suggested that Teresita had haunted Alan in his cell, forcing him to change his mind, and it remained unclear if the note with the AS initials was written by Teresita or was something misplaced by Alan. Now, was this case proof of the supernatural or something far more explainable? You see, Alan was ultimately convicted of murder and sentenced to 14 years in prison, a lesser charge for pleading guilty. Now, he served only 5 years before his release, and his life and whereabouts after his release were known only to a select few, which in my mind is absolutely mind-boggling and unacceptable. I mean, Remy and Jose's story of the possessions seems quite plausible on one level and yet impossible on another. I mean, I guess the angle here is whether you believe in ghosts and possessions in the first place. But there is a little twist in the case of Teresita Basa, with a couple of theories out there in the wild. If you ask me, personally, there are a lot of unrealistic theories. For example, one of them suggests Remy had a grudge against Alan, as there were recorded complaints he had made against her regarding the quality of her work. Now, could Remy have set Alan up to take the fall for this murder? Well, no, I don't think so, because Alan ultimately confessed. Now, whether you believe the main story or whatever other theory you choose, remember this: that the name Alan Showery, when it comes to Detective Stacula, is now recorded in the court files that he acted on the basis of a supernatural vision. This case was the first in recorded history where the spirit of a victim had solved their own murder. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found the clue, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
See, that was from day 1 to day 100, but I've actually been doing this now for 3 years. So if you're interested to see what I look like now when telling a story, all you got to do is click here. And believe me, I think you'll be surprised.